Welcome to the daily quiz. Today we are talking about astronomy related questions. Do you know about the colors of these planets? What is the differences between planets and stars? Many more questions related to the astronomy. Full HD video with detailed answers. We will publish a video every Monday. Question number 1. What are the colors of the planets?
Mercury, grey. Mercury has practically no atmosphere, so we just see the rocky surface. Venus, pale yellow. To human eyes, Venus looks kind of boring. We can only see the thick layer of featureless sulfuric acid clouds. Earth, mostly blue with white clouds. Oceans and light scattered by the atmosphere make Earth prevailingly blue. Earth is by far the most dynamic planet when seen from space. Mars, mostly reddish-brown, though with some darker regions, and also white ice caps. The dominant reddish color comes from rusty rocks on the surface, since the clouds are rare and thin. Jupiter, orange and white bands. The white bands are colored by ammonia clouds, while the orange comes from ammonium hydrosulfide clouds. Saturn, pale gold. White ammonia haze covers the whole planet and partially obscures redder clouds below. Clouds in Saturn's winter hemisphere are pale blue. Uranus, pale blue. The color comes from methane clouds. In some photos released after the Voyager 2 flyby, Uranus looked green, but that color was artificial. Neptune, pale blue. As in the case of Uranus, the color is due to methane. Neptune would appear darker than Uranus due to dimmer illumination.
Question number 2. What is the color of the sun?
Technically, the sun is white. The sun emits all colors of the rainbow more or less evenly, and in physics, we call this combination white. That is why we can see so many different colors in the natural world under the illumination of sunlight. If sunlight were purely green, then everything outside would look green or dark. We can see the redness of a rose and the blueness of a butterfly's wing under sunlight because sunlight contains red and blue light. The same goes for all other colors. When a light bulb engineer designs a bulb that is supposed to mimic the sun, and therefore provide natural illumination, he designs a white bulb, not a yellow bulb. The fact that you see all the fundamental colors present in a rainbow and no colors are missing is direct evidence that sunlight is white.
Question number 3. What are the differences between a planet and a star?
The main difference between stars and planets is that stars have high temperatures compared to planets. Stars undergo nuclear reactions. Usually they burn hydrogen in their cores, releasing massive amounts of energy. In order to be hot enough for these reactions to take place, stars need to be extremely big. They must have a mass of at least 75 times that of Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system. Because they radiate energy, stars are very bright objects. Planets do not generate their own energy through nuclear reactions. They reflect some of the radiation coming from their parent star.
Question number 4. What was the first planet discovered?
The answer is Uranus. William Herschel, an English astronomer, discovered Uranus while stargazing through a telescope in 1781.
Question number 5. What is the differences between a nebula and a galaxy?
Nebulas are different from galaxies because they are smaller, have shorter lives, and have fewer stars than galaxies. Simply put, the main difference between galaxies and nebulae are an extreme difference in size, as well as their basic structure. A nebula is a cloud of dust and gas, usually tens to hundreds of light years across. A galaxy is much larger, usually thousands to hundreds of thousands of light years across. Nebulae are one of the many things that galaxies are made of, along with stars, black holes, cosmic dust, dark matter, and much more.
Question number 6. What are the dwarf planets?
A dwarf planet is a celestial body that orbits the Sun, has enough mass to assume a nearly round shape, has not cleared the neighborhood around its orbit, and is not a moon. Dwarf planets are not fully developed bodies like moons or comets, instead they are smaller bodies that have a shape that resembles a true planetary body. They have a solid shell of material around them that is thousands to millions of kilometers thick. Some dwarf planets may not have a shell at all. The dwarf planets that do exist are Ceres, Pluto, Eris, Makemake, Haumea, and Sedna.
Question number 7. What are the 3 main types of galaxies?
The answer is spirals, ellipticals, and irregulars. Astronomers classify galaxies into 3 major categories: elliptical, spiral, and irregular. These galaxies span a wide range of sizes, from dwarf galaxies containing as few as 100 million stars to giant galaxies with more than 1 trillion stars. Ellipticals, which account for about 1/3 of all galaxies, vary from nearly circular to very elongated. They possess comparatively little gas and dust, contain older stars, and are not actively forming stars anymore. Spiral galaxies appear as flat, blue-white disks of stars, gas, and dust with yellowish bulges in their centers. Irregular galaxies, which have very little dust, are neither disk-like nor elliptical. These galaxies were abundant in the early universe, before spirals and ellipticals developed. Aside from these 3 classic categories, astronomers have also identified many unusually shaped galaxies that seem to be in a transitory phase of galactic development.
Question number 8. What type of galaxy do we live in?
The answer is the Milky Way. We live in an irregular galaxy called the Milky Way galaxy. It has more gas and dust than normal galaxies and contains over 100 billion stars. Stars in our galaxy are mostly older than younger ones because they are closer to the center of our galaxy where gravity pulls them down faster, so they die faster too. We can see this by looking at other galaxies.
Question number 9. What are constellations?
A constellation is a group of stars that looks like a particular shape in the sky and has been given a name. These stars are far away from Earth. They are not connected to each other at all. Some stars in a constellation might be close while others are very far away. But if you were to draw lines in the sky between the stars like a dot-to-dot puzzle, and use lots of imagination, the picture would look like an object, animal, or person. Over time, cultures around the world have had different names and numbers of constellations depending on what people thought they saw. Today, there are 88 officially recognized constellations.
Question number 10. What is an aurora?
An aurora is a natural light display that shimmers in the sky. Colorful blue, red, yellow, green, and orange lights shift gently and change shape like softly blowing curtains. Auroras are only visible at night, and usually only appear in lower polar regions. Auroras are visible almost every night near the Arctic and Antarctic circles, which are about 66.5 degrees north and south of the equator. In the north, the display is called aurora borealis, or northern lights. In the south, it is called aurora australis, or southern lights.